Darkness hides many things. Sometimes it hides monsters that walk among us. This is not just a story of crime. It's a story of the human mind, of obsession, of control, of shadows that move inside ordinary people. In a quiet American town, strange disappearances began. At first, no one noticed. People go missing all the time, they said. But soon the truth became impossible to ignore. A young woman vanished. A child disappeared on his way home. Each case more disturbing than the last. Police searched. Families prayed. The community lived in fear. But the killer was always one step ahead. Watching, waiting, carefully choosing his next victim. Visual keywords: dark town, streetlights, missing person posters, shadows moving in alley. The first clue came on a rainy night. A patrol officer noticed an abandoned car at the edge of the forest. The engine was still warm, but the driver was gone. Inside the car, a purse, a phone, and blood smeared across the back seat. This was no accident. This was planned. Detectives arrived, marking the scene. Flashlights cut through the darkness. The rain washed away footprints as if nature itself was protecting the killer. But one detail remained: a silver necklace pressed into the mud. It belonged to the missing woman. Visual keywords: abandoned car and rain. Police flashlight, blood stain inside car. Necklace in mud. Days later, a letter arrived at the police station. Though no fingerprints, no return address. Just one line, written in red ink. You'll never catch what you can't understand. Detectives studied the handwriting. Experts were called in. They said the killer wanted control. He wanted the attention. He wanted fear. By sending that letter, he'd escalated the game. Visual keywords: envelope on police desk, gloved hands opening letter, words written in red ink, detective staring at paper. Investigators knocked on doors. They searched abandoned houses. They combed the woods. But the killer was always ahead. He blended into the crowd. Invisible, ordinary. He could be the man you walked past in the grocery store. Then came the second letter. Inside was a torn photograph. It showed the missing child. His face was scratched out with a blade. On the back, 2 words. Too late. Panic spread. Parents kept children home. Families locked doors long before sunset. The town was drowning in fear. Exactly as the killer wanted. Visual keywords: dark, empty streets, parents holding kids, detectives in woods, photo torn in half. The FBI formed a task force. They studied every detail. And then they noticed something chilling. The letters weren't random. They contained hidden references, quotes from old psychology texts. Words about control, about dominance. Whoever this man was, he wasn't just a criminal. He was intelligent, educated, a student of the human mind. The police realized they weren't just fighting a killer. They were fighting his psychology. Visual keywords: FBI agents in office, crime board with strings, detective reading books, dark study room with papers scattered. Weeks later, a man walking his dog found something buried in the woods. A wooden box. Inside, Polaroid photographs. Victim bound, gagged, terrified. And in every photo, a shadow in the background. A man's outline, always hidden, never clear. It was his trophy chest. Detectives studied the photos and saw one repeating symbol. A circle with a line through it. His mark, his signature. Visual keywords: man with flashlight in woods, box buried in dirt, old Polaroid photos, shadow figure in background. The press got hold of the story. Headlines screamed, "The Phantom of the Town." Reporters crowded the streets. News vans blocked the police station. But the attention only made things worse. The killer thrived on it. He wanted to be seen, but never caught. Then he struck again. Another woman gone from her own home. No struggle, no forced entry, just gone. On her dining table, detectives found a folded paper. It read, "I live closer than you think." Visual keywords: reporters with cameras flashing news headlines, suburban home at night, empty dining table with paper note. The message shook investigators. Was he a neighbor? Was he watching them? FBI profilers built a psychological profile. Man in his 30s or 40s, educated, charming, polite. But with hidden darkness, someone ordinary on the outside. But inside, a predator. The community turned on itself. Neighbors accused neighbors. Families whispered. Trust collapsed, and in the middle of it all, the killer smiled. Visual keywords: FBI profiler, writing notes, suspect lineup, neighbors arguing, man's shadow watching from window. Late one night, a detective noticed a hidden pattern in the letters. Each message referenced rare psychology books, journals available only at the local university. The task force searched faculty records, professors, students, researchers, and then one man stood out. He was polite. Charming, well-spoken, but his eyes were hollow. His smile didn't match. His past revealed disturbing truths. Once a psychology student, brilliant, but obsessed with control experiments. He treated people like test subjects, professors warned him. But he disappeared into obscurity, and now he had returned to his obsession. Only this time the experiments were on real people, visual keywords. Detective circling text and letter, university library shelves, professor lecturing, man standing alone in shadows. Scene 10 begins with the suspect under quiet surveillance. Detectives trailing him through city streets at night. Neon lights reflecting off wet pavement, cameras capturing every move. Their hearts racing as they wonder if this is truly the Phantom, or just another wrong lead. But then, without warning, he disappears into an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, the same warehouse that appeared faintly in one of the Polaroid photographs found in the trophy box. And as investigators enter carefully, beams of flashlight cut through the dust-filled air, revealing chains on the wall, ropes on the floor, and claw marks as if victims had struggled for their lives. Here, the silence heavier than any scream. Scene 11 unfolds when they discover a hidden trapdoor leading to a basement where old notebooks lay scattered across a wooden desk. Filled with disturbing psychological experiments, twisted theories on fear, control, and submission, each page scribbled with thoughts that blend brilliance with madness. And taped inside one book is another Polaroid, showing the most recent missing woman, still alive at the time, blindfolded and terrified, meaning she was here, maybe still alive, maybe already gone. Scene 12 escalates as a storm rages outside and police set up surveillance around the warehouse, hoping the killer will return, but he is already watching them from the shadows, unseen, leaving taunting messages on their patrol cars like "closer than you think," written in chalk, mocking their every move. While inside, agents realize they are not just hunting a killer. They are playing inside his maze, and every step they take, he has already calculated. Scene 13 intensifies with the killer striking again, this time in broad daylight, snatching another victim from a crowded marketplace without anyone noticing. His boldness shocking the task force, proving he is escalating. And when investigators find a CCTV clip, all they see is a blurred figure, tall, ordinary clothes, baseball cap hiding his face, moving like a shadow through the crowd, vanishing into thin air, leaving only the echo of fear. Scene 14 develops when the FBI profiler reveals the horrifying truth that this man doesn't just kill for pleasure, he kills for power. His victims chosen carefully to prove he can control every layer of society, from children to women to the elderly. Each disappearance sending shockwaves into the community, feeding his obsession, and the profiler warns. If they don't stop him now, the killings will escalate into a full-scale psychological war against the entire town. Scene 15 begins with detectives finally cornering him after tracing a purchase he made online for specialized rope, leading them to a small suburban home where neighbors describe him as polite, always smiling, the man who mowed his lawn every Saturday, no one suspecting the monster beneath the mask. And as officers break into the basement, they find soundproof walls, hidden cameras, chains bolted into concrete, and recordings of victims begging for mercy, proof beyond doubt that they have found his lair, yet he himself is gone again. It's vanishing minutes before the raid, as if he had been watching them from the start. Scene 16 begins with the letter arriving at the task force office. But this time, it's personal, with photographs of the lead detective's own family inside. His wife and child circled in red ink, the note saying, "Do you feel my control now?" Throwing the entire team into chaos, their enemy no longer targeting strangers, but their very own. Forcing the detective into a desperate race against time, knowing that every second wasted could mean losing his loved ones. Scene